Welcome back to Silent Path. If you're new here, this channel is dedicated to helping modern men build discipline, purpose, mental strength, and self-mastery through the timeless wisdom of the samurai, stoic philosophers, and history's greatest warriors. Today we're exploring 7 samurai rules that can transform the way you think, work, lead, and live. These aren't motivational quotes, these are principles that guided warriors through uncertainty, hardships, and life or death situations. And although we no longer carry swords into battle, every modern man faces a different kind of war. A war against distraction, a war against comfort, a war against weakness. If you're committed to becoming stronger mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, write discipline in the comments below. And if these lessons help you, subscribe to support the channel and join thousands of others walking the path of self-mastery. Now let's begin.
Before we begin, I want you to imagine something. Imagine waking up tomorrow and realizing that nothing in your life is actually moving forward. You're busy every day. You go to work, you answer messages, you scroll through social media, you watch videos. You stay occupied from the moment you wake up until the moment you fall asleep. But despite all of that activity, deep down, you feel stuck. You feel like you're capable of more. You know there is a stronger version of yourself somewhere beneath the distractions, the bad habits, and the constant noise of modern life. But you can't seem to reach him. The truth is, this is where many men find themselves today. Not because they are weak, not because they are incapable, but because they have lost their direction. Several years ago, I came across the story of Miyamoto Musashi, one of the greatest samurai who ever lived. Musashi was undefeated in over 60 duels. He lived through conflict, hardship, uncertainty, and isolation. Yet what fascinated me most wasn't his skill with a sword. It was his understanding of human nature. Musashi understood something that many modern men have forgotten. The greatest battle is not fought against another person. It is fought against yourself, against your excuses, against your fears, against your laziness, against the voice that tells you to quit when things become difficult. Today, most men are not fighting on a battlefield. They're fighting distractions. They're fighting comfort. They're fighting addiction to instant gratification. They're fighting the feeling that life is slipping away while they watch from the sidelines. And slowly, without realizing it, many men become spectators in their own lives. The samurai refused to live that way. Every day was treated as preparation. Every challenge was treated as training. Every setback was treated as a lesson. They understood that strength is not something you are born with. It is something you build. One decision at a time. One habit at a time. One disciplined action at a time. And that's why the lessons we're about to discuss are still relevant hundreds of years later. Because human nature hasn't changed. The tools have changed. The technology has changed. The distractions have changed. But the battle remains the same. The battle for focus. The battle for discipline. The battle for purpose. The battle for self-mastery. If you can learn these 7 samurai rules and begin applying them to your life, you won't just become more productive. You'll become more resilient, more focused, more disciplined, more dangerous to your excuses, and more capable of becoming the man you know you can be. So take a deep breath. Remove every distraction. And let's begin with the first rule that made the samurai unstoppable. Lesson 1. Purpose before comfort. One of the greatest reasons modern men feel lost is because they have made comfort their destination. The samurai understood that comfort was never the goal. Purpose was. A warrior without purpose becomes vulnerable to distraction. When a man does not know what he is fighting for, he eventually stops fighting altogether. This idea appears throughout Japanese history and philosophy. The legendary swordsman Miyamoto Musashi wrote extensively about developing a clear path in life. In his famous work, The Book of Five Rings, Musashi emphasized the importance of knowing one's path deeply, not following trends, not following the crowd, following a chosen path with unwavering commitment. Today, many men wake up and immediately consume content. They scroll social media. They compare themselves to strangers. They react to the world rather than directing their lives. The samurai lived differently. Every action served a purpose. Every day moved them toward mastery. Imagine two men. One wakes up with no plan. The other wakes up knowing exactly what must be done. After 5 years, their lives look completely different. Purpose creates direction. Direction creates action. Action creates results. The first rule of becoming unstoppable is simple. Know what you are building your life toward. Without purpose, discipline eventually dies. With purpose, discipline becomes easier because every sacrifice has meaning. Lesson 2. Discipline is stronger than motivation. One of the biggest lies in modern self-improvement is the belief that successful people are constantly motivated. The samurai knew better. Motivation is emotional. Discipline is structural. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline remains. Musashi trained relentlessly, whether he felt inspired or not. He famously fought and won dozens of duels because he developed skill through repetition rather than emotion. Modern men often wait until they feel ready. They wait until they feel confident. They wait until conditions become perfect. The samurai would have considered this a dangerous weakness, because life rarely waits for your emotions to cooperate. The disciplined man acts even when he is tired. He trains when he does not feel like training. He works when he does not feel like working. He keeps promises to himself when nobody is watching. Think about physical fitness. The strongest people in the gym are not necessarily the most motivated. They are often the most consistent. The same principle applies to business. Relationships, financial success, mental toughness, discipline compounds. Every small promise you keep builds trust in yourself, and self-trust becomes confidence, not the confidence of words, the confidence of evidence. An unstoppable man does not ask, "How do I feel today?" He asks, "What needs to be done?" And then he does it. Lesson 3. Master your emotions before you master anything else. The samurai believed that one of the greatest victories a man could achieve was not over an enemy, but over himself. Think about that for a moment. Most men spend their lives trying to control external circumstances. They want more money, a better job, more respect, a better relationship. Yet many cannot control their own anger, frustration, fear, or impulses. The samurai understood a simple truth. A man who cannot control himself will eventually be controlled by something else. By his emotions, by his addictions, by his circumstances, by other people. Miyamoto Musashi often wrote about maintaining composure regardless of the situation. Whether facing a duel or uncertainty, he believed the mind should remain calm and undisturbed. Imagine a modern example. A man loses his job unexpectedly. His first reaction is panic. He blames the economy. He blames his employer. He blames everyone around him. Weeks pass. Nothing changes. Now imagine another man. He experiences the same setback, the same disappointment, the same uncertainty. But instead of reacting emotionally, he pauses. He accepts reality. He updates his resume. He develops new skills. He begins reaching out to opportunities. Both men experienced the same event. But their outcomes were determined by their response. This is what the samurai understood. You cannot always control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. And often, that makes all the difference. The modern battlefield is emotional. Social media provokes outrage. News feeds provoke fear. Comparison creates insecurity. Every day, your emotions are being tested. The strongest man is not the one who never feels emotion. The strongest man is the one who refuses to become a slave to it. That is true strength. Lesson 4. Seek discomfort voluntarily. Most people spend their lives running from discomfort. The samurai ran toward it. This may sound strange in a world designed around convenience. Food arrives instantly. Entertainment is available 24 hours a day. Almost every discomfort can be avoided. But there is a hidden danger in a life without challenge. Without resistance, strength cannot develop. Imagine a sword being forged. It must endure intense heat, pressure, repeated strikes. Without that process, it remains weak metal. The same is true for men. One of the reasons so many people feel fragile today is because they rarely place themselves in difficult situations voluntarily. The samurai understood that hardship was training. There is a story often associated with warrior culture in Japan. Young warriors were expected to train in difficult weather, difficult terrain, and uncomfortable environments. Not because suffering itself was the goal, but because they understood something profound. When hardship arrives unexpectedly, it is too late to begin preparing. Preparation must happen beforehand. Think about the modern man who wants confidence. Many believe confidence comes first. Then action follows. The samurai believed the opposite. Action comes first. Confidence follows. The man who wakes up early despite not wanting to. The man who trains when tired. The man who has the difficult conversation he has been avoiding. The man who keeps moving when conditions are unfavorable. That man slowly becomes unshakable. Not because life becomes easier, because he becomes stronger. Lesson 5. Protect your attention. If the samurai were alive today, they would likely view attention as one of the most valuable resources on earth. Why? Because where attention goes, life follows. Modern society is engaged in a constant battle for your focus. Every notification, every advertisement, every social media feed, all competing for one thing: your attention. Musashi emphasized complete presence and total commitment. When he practiced, he practiced. When he fought, he fought. When he observed, he observed. There was no divided attention. Now compare that to modern life. Many people eat while scrolling, work while checking messages, watch videos while browsing social media. Their minds are scattered in 100 directions, and then they wonder why they feel overwhelmed. Imagine a magnifying glass. When sunlight is scattered, nothing happens. But when that same light becomes focused, it can start a fire. Human attention works the same way. The most successful people are often not the smartest. They are simply able to focus deeply for longer periods. The samurai understood that mastery requires concentration, and concentration requires sacrifice. You must be willing to say no to distractions in order to say yes to your future. Lesson 6. Live by a code. One of the reasons the samurai continue to fascinate people centuries later is because they lived by principles. Their actions were guided by Bushido, the way of the warrior. Bushido emphasized courage, honor, loyalty, integrity, respect, and self-control. Today, many people make decisions based on emotion. If they feel motivated, they act. If they do not feel motivated, they stop. The samurai lived differently. Their code remained the same, regardless of how they felt. Imagine a ship crossing a stormy ocean. Without a compass, it drifts. Without direction, it becomes vulnerable to every wave and current. There is an old story from Japan about a young warrior who approached an elderly samurai and asked him a question. He said, "How do I know if I am becoming a strong man?" The old samurai did not answer immediately. Instead, he pointed toward a bamboo forest. For several moments, both men stood silently watching the bamboo sway in the wind. Finally, the old warrior spoke. "The bamboo bends, but it does not break." "Why?" The young man thought for a moment. "Because it is flexible," he replied. The samurai nodded. "Yes, but it also knows what it is." The old warrior explained that the bamboo did not need to become an oak tree. It did not need to become a pine tree. It remained true to its nature, regardless of the weather. Then he looked at the young warrior and said, "Most men suffer because they do not know what they stand for. Every strong wind changes their direction. That lesson remains true today. Many men allow social media to define success. Others allow society to define masculinity. Others spend their entire lives chasing approval from people they do not even respect. As a result, their values constantly change. Their identity constantly changes. And eventually, they no longer know who they are. The samurai understood that a man without principles becomes vulnerable to every temptation, every distraction, and every opinion. This is why Bushido became so important. The word Bushido means the way of the warrior. It was not originally created by one man. Instead, it evolved over centuries through the teachings of samurai culture, Zen Buddhism, Confucian philosophy, and Shinto traditions. Warriors needed a framework to guide their actions, especially during times of uncertainty, conflict, and hardship. Over time, virtues such as honor, courage, integrity, loyalty, self-control, respect, and sincerity became the foundation of the samurai code. Bushido was more than a set of rules. It was a compass. When fear appeared, the code provided courage. When temptation appeared, the code provided discipline. When confusion appeared, the code provided clarity. The samurai knew that emotions change from day to day. Circumstances change from season to season. But principles endure. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson modern men can learn. If you do not create your own code, the world will create one for you. It will tell you what to value. It will tell you how to think. It will tell you what success looks like. But the warrior chooses differently. He decides for himself. He builds his life around principles that remain steady when everything else changes. Because in a world full of noise, a personal code becomes a source of strength, and a man who knows exactly what he stands for becomes very difficult to stop. Lesson 7. Never stop improving. Perhaps the most important lesson of all comes from the life of Musashi himself. Despite becoming one of Japan's most legendary swordsmen, he never stopped learning. Think about that. After defeating dozens of opponents, after earning fame, after achieving mastery, he still considered himself a student. Many people reach a small amount of success and become comfortable. They stop growing, they stop learning, they stop challenging themselves, and slowly they begin moving backward. Musashi understood that mastery is not a destination, it is a lifelong pursuit. Imagine two men. One believes he already knows enough. The other remains curious. The first stops reading, stops learning, stops evolving. The second continues growing year after year. Fast forward 10 years. Their lives look completely different. Growth compounds. Knowledge compounds. Discipline compounds. Everything compounds. The warrior mindset is not about perfection. It is about progress. Every day becoming slightly better than the day before. That is what made Musashi extraordinary. And it is what can make any man extraordinary today. Not talent, not luck, not circumstance. A commitment to continuous improvement. A commitment to never settling. A commitment to becoming who you are capable of becoming. As we come to the end of this journey, remember this. The samurai were not born extraordinary. They became extraordinary through discipline, through hardship, through self-control, through a commitment to becoming a little stronger every single day. And the same opportunity exists for you. You do not need a sword. You do not need perfect circumstances. You do not need to have everything figured out. You simply need the courage to take the next step. To choose discipline over distraction. Purpose over comfort. Growth over excuses. Because every day you are becoming someone. The question is, who are you becoming? If there was one lesson from today's video that resonated with you the most, let me know in the comments below. I read every comment, and I'd love to hear which samurai rule you're committed to applying in your own life. And if you found value in this video, take a moment to support the channel by leaving a like and subscribing. It helps more than you know, and it allows me to continue creating content that helps modern men develop discipline, purpose, and mental strength. Also, if you're ready to go deeper into these principles, I've created a free ebook called The Code. Inside, you'll discover 7 powerful samurai-inspired principles that can help you build stronger habits, sharpen your focus, and develop the mindset of a modern warrior. You can download it completely free through the link in the description below. Thank you for spending this time with me. Until next time, stay disciplined, stay focused, stay humble, and keep walking the path.